Oh, sweet Jesus. What?
Good morning, Miss Fambro.
Nacho Dios.
How are you doing this lovely day?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am living the dream, the proverbial dream.
Nice.
Because, having a courtroom means nothing over here.
Good morning, Judge Van.
Good morning. Are we having fun yet?
Great time today.
She's so full of crap.
Yeah. Well, we all are, apparently. All right, is this Ms. Williams?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Williams, before the court charged grand theft over 100,000, grand theft between 10 and 20,000, dealing in stolen property, petty theft, dealing in stolen property, dealing in stolen property. You understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
You got a copy of your paperwork? He's asking.
Yes, sir.
All right, based on your application, do you qualify for the service of the public defender's office? I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you, so you have an attorney now. Any question about that?
No, sir.
Deputy criminal history?
I'm sorry?
She has a lot of these similar charges that were in December. They all happened around the same time.
Judge, she likes to steal. Some people like to sell burritos. This one likes to steal.
That's it for her history.
Everything was okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
I understand the severity.
The 1,000 bonds, 50,000. Grant theft 10, 20, 15,000. Dealing in stolen properties 10,000. Theft 5,000. Dealing in stolen properties 10,000. Dealing in stolen properties 10,000. No contact victims. It's going to be February the 7th, 9 o'clock.
Step over here. When the green light comes on, sign.
So I'm not going to.
Ready, sir? State your name.
Christian Pierce.
Pearson, before the court, a resisting officer without violence and wearing a mask or hood on the street. That's heinous.
At ease, cadet.
We were also. All right, sir. I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Got a copy of your paperwork?
Yes, sir.
Were you advised of your rights today?
I don't.
Today, not when you got arrested. When they handed you the paperwork, probably.
Not today.
Okay. You've been charged with crime, so you've got certain rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Based on your application, I find that you do qualify, so I'm going to go ahead and make that appointment now. You also have the right to communicate with friends, family, and attorneys regarding your case. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, Deputy, criminal history.
Missouri 16, a marijuana and a forgery. That's it.
Bond said at 2,500 on the resisting, 100 on the mask, just so he gets credit for it.
Oh.
It's going to be January the 17th at 8:30. Good luck, sir. I didn't really know
Set
what.
to your right to the T.
I don't
When the
know
green
what-
light comes on, sign.
for him, but yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to RR him on it because then he's not getting any credit. $10.
On 2,600 is your bond. Your court date is in the morning. Go ahead and sign. State your name.
I'm sorry.
Court charges petty theft,
Yeah.
or self-defense. That's in the charge?
Hey, Your Honor, yes, it's been a few years since I asked for pretrial release. Can I get pretrial release, please?
Let's
Please.
get through the preliminary stuff first, okay?
I'm
So-
trying to get out of jail today, sir. I have something I have to do very important. I've never asked for this favor before until now.
What's so important that you gotta get out of jail?
To be honest with you,
She just said, I haven't asked for pretrial release in a while, which is a horrible start. And then she contradicts herself and says, I've never asked for this before.
I need to get back on my medicine, and they didn't want to
Okay,
give me my medicine here.
that's something I can get behind. All right, deputy, criminal history.
24, larceny, disorderly VOP, a sentence on those. 22, trespass, petty theft, battery on an officer, resisting with, battery on an officer firefighter ×2, prostitution, battery on an officer firefighter ×3, prostitution, resisting, battery on an officer. 23, DUI. Her history goes back to 09 locally.
Bonds 5,000, court dates
Just your basic drinking, hooking, and beating, Judge.
February 17th, 9 o'clock, no contact with the alleged victim.
Step over to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign. Next. Red X, ma'am. State your name. That's not the right one, but okay.
Oh, you want?
Yeah, switch out.
Take it.
State your name.
This month, you're for the court charge of trafficking methamphetamine, 28 grams or more,
Finally, I was wondering how long it was going to take for meth to show up.
in possession of paraphernalia. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
True. Yes, sir.
Based on your application, once you do qualify, go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. So you have an attorney now. Question about that?
Yes, sir.
Deputy, criminal history?
Locally, there's a failure to register as a criminal last year, or release out of DOC August of last year. Florida controlled substance, para 22, false name to Leo, grand theft 21 ×2, deposit funds with intent 21 ×2, FTA ×2, DWLSR, 18, sale of meth, petty theft, passing a counterfeit check, and illegal use of credit cards.
725 Front Beach. Is this the Coconut Grove?
Yes, sir. I was at my boyfriend. I was at my boyfriend's.
All right, ma'am. On the trafficking meth, bonds 250,000, and the paraphernalia is 1,000. Court date's going to
Interestingly, Judge knows this address off the top of his head.
be February 3rd, 9 o'clock with random UAs. Good luck now.
Step to the right to the T. Wait, come here.
That
Step
brings
on the
back
T. When the green light comes on, sign. State your name, ma'am.
Ms. Thomas, before the court charge, dealing stolen property, dealing stolen property, dealing stolen property, grand theft between 10 and 20,000, and grand theft between 10 and $20,000. Do you understand those charges, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Based on your application, you've indicated you're going to hire your own attorney or represent yourself. Is that true?
No, I have a lawyer.
You already have a lawyer?
On previous cases, I haven't retained him for this case yet, but yes, I have a lawyer.
Yes.
You broke up.
History?
21 DWLSR, less than 20, assault with intent, battery. 19, principal robbery, FTA, and some juvenile aggravated assault and domestic battery.
Woo! We got some seriously naughty girls today.
That's it.
10,000, the three on each of the three dealing and stolen properties. 20,000 on each of the grand thefts. Yes. Court date is going to be February 17th at 9 o'clock. No contact with the alleged victim or co-defendant.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign for your copy of it. Next.
Oh, there's some severe discipline in order. Yeah, it's
State your
rarely
name, ma'am.
charged.
Melissa offered.
She's offered your full court to the possession of
The unwritten rule in court is we assume people are going to lie to get out of stuff, and we don't tack that on. As a rule, sometimes it's really flagrant and you got to, but it's rare.
meth, possession of paraphernalia. Understand the charges?
Yes, I understand him. I don't agree with him, but
Paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
yes,
Based on your application, I find that you do qualify. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. So you have an attorney now. Any question about that?
No, thank you, sir.
Deputy Criminal History, Ms. Officer.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
20, that's the math of VOP on it. Yeah, para and 2 FTAs and 14.
I have never been a criminal defense attorney. I was briefly a prosecutor back before electricity.
Fine is 5,000 the meth, 1,000 the paraphernalia, random UAs. Court date will be February the 13th at 9 o'clock. Good luck, ma'am.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign. Mr. Christie declined to come down today.
Sentence for Capias, 15 days, credit for 0, may purge out for $500.
Yes, sir. State your name.
Stephen Cole.
Mr. Cole, you're before the court charged of violation of pretrial release condition for contact. You understand the charge?
Sir?
Do you understand the charge?
Yes.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Yes.
Didn't I revoke your bond already on the other cases?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We'll keep
You
calling.
gave me a bond on the first violation of no
Yeah, now
contact
I
order.
revoke that one. I mean, it's
No, that
just-
one's been revoked. It's already been revoked.
Okay, all right, good. I mean, it's just insanity, Mr. Cole. You know the definition of insanity, right?
Yes, sir. Me and my wife we're trying to get
Expecting
back together.
results.
I'm sorry.
So I find that no bond is going to assure your compliance, so I'm going to hold you without. Court date's going to be January 17th at 8:30. Good luck, buddy.
Step to your right to the T. Next.
In the can.
Red X. State your name.
Jason Tolan.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
By the way, big shout out to Zach. This entire stream is from Zach. He's got me another good appearance. This isn't very long out of Kansas after this.
He doesn't listen anyway. How you doing, Mr. Tolan?
Fantastic.
Yeah. You know, when they tell you that they're recording those, they really mean it.
I didn't contact her. I contacted my son. I can't help. She answered the phone. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm in jail.
That's
That's got
the way
nothing
it
to do with me.
works.
I'm in jail.
That's where you shall stay.
I mean, it is what it is.
All right, man. Bond is 5,000
Yeah,
on
I
the new
don't need no
charge.
bond. Keep it.
Well, don't worry, because you don't have a new bond. You don't have a bond on your other one.
Great.
You're a joy.
These two bonds.
Which ones are you? Both of the old cases or just the new one?
2546. Just 2546.
There's a 3539.
Oh, let's do that one too.
And it's 5,000 on the new one.
I don't need
Yes.
a bond.
Thank you.
We're not giving you one,
Next.
Mr. Tolan.
You better.
You win. No bond.
Thank you.
Ah, I like it. A man that knows what he wants.
I just go about Bay County.
Hey, 231's ready when you are. 98 goes both ways. Get out.
Yeah, so don't be alone. I'm out of here.
Good. I'll drive you the line.
Hey, come get me. I'll take you there. I won't ever come back to Florida.
Okay. If they'd let me sign you out, I would take you to the state line tonight because I'm heading
And I
out.
will never come back to Florida. If you do that to me, I will never come back
I'm
to this state.
100%.
line.
I am for it, Mr. Tolan. We don't want you here
Well, come
anymore.
get me and I will leave the state of Florida. Come get me and I'll leave the state of Florida right now. And I will never come back here ever again.
Golly Moses. Don't tempt me with a good time. How you doing, Mr. Taylor?
Well, that got weird.
I'm here.
Mr. Taylor, you're fine. For the court charge, driving license, suspended revoke. You understand the charge?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Based on your application, you do qualify. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. Deputy Criminal History, Mr. Taylor?
He has an open NTA on a DWLSR. 22 crimes against abuse of the elderly, 21 domestic, 20 domestic ag assault, resisting, domestic battery, domestics. It goes back to the 90s locally.
Bonds 1,500, court dates tomorrow, January 17th at 8:30. Good luck, sir.
Step to your right to the T.
He's a wife
When the
beater from way
green
back.
light comes on, son. Next. Ready, sir? State your name.
Mr. Evans, before the court charge resisting officer without violence, failing to register, and retail theft is a second or subsequent offense. Do you understand those charges?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, based on your application, I find that you do qualify. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you. Any question about that?
No.
Deputy Commissioner?
This is got put on probation with you for a DUI on the second.
Case number now?
245782 CT.
All right, Mr. Evans, on the resisting officer bonds 5,000, failure to register is 5,000. The second or subsequent petty theft is 5,000. Your court date on those cases will be February the 27th at 9 o'clock, and I'm signing a warrant for violation of probation 245782. Good luck, sir.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, son. Get it, sir. Face the TV and state your name.
My name is Michael Wright.
Mr. Wright, fully court charged domestic violence battery. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true, sir?
Yes, sir.
Based on your application, you may qualify for a public defender, but the law recognizes your financial situation may change, in which case you can reapply later. You also have the
Well, yeah, there's a lot of good claims to be made out there. Although State Farm just skipped town, but I'm not licensed in California.
option of hiring your own attorney or represent yourself. Deputy, criminal history?
He shows no history with no tracker.
Bond set at 5,000. No contact. Court date's January 17th at 8:30. Good luck, sir.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign. Ready, sir? State your name.
Bobby Thomas Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, you fully court charged possession of paraphernalia and possession of methamphetamine. Do you understand those charges?
Yes, sir.
I understand you've been given copies of paperwork and advised of your rights. Is that true?
You got a copy of the paperwork? Were you advised of your rights today?
Yes, sir.
Based on your application, I find you do qualify. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you, so you have an attorney now. Deputy, criminal history, Mr. Nelson?
No history, sir.
Yeah. I can't hear.
He's talking to me.
Pre-trial release. Be there for 9 o'clock tomorrow. Submit to random UAs as directed by your pre-trial release officer or your judge. Your court date's going to be February 13th at 9 o'clock.
You're getting out today. Court date's February 13th. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Step to your right to the T. When the green light comes on, sign. Next.
It's a bad time to start. There's a good time to start.
State your name.
Mr. Bell, you're fully court charged of trafficking more than 28 grams of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, possession of hydrocodone, possession of paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence. Do you understand those charges? No, maybe?
Yes, sir.
I understand copies of paperwork and advise of your rights. Based on your application, I find that you do qualify. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent you, so you have an attorney now. Deputy, criminal history, Mr. Bell?
Yes, sir.
21 marijuana over 20 cocaine, controlled substance, para-resisting VOPs with a release out of DOC in 23. cocaine in 20 with marijuana resisting, 18 resist, it goes back to 2,000 locally.
250,000 on the trafficking, 10,000 cocaine, 10,000 on cocaine, 10,000 on hydrocodone, 1,000 on paraphernalia, 5,000 resisting. Court date's gonna be February the 3rd, 9 o'clock, random UAs.
Step to your right to the T. Oh, you got, yeah, it's 250, 67, 286.
286.
When the green light comes on, sign. Next, step on the X for me. State your name.
Kevin Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, you're before the court on failure to appear for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in front of Judge Register. Judge Register missed you. He's requesting on his presence. He's going to hold you without bond. Your court date is February the 10th at 9 o'clock.
All right.
Step behind him at the signature pad. Well, step on the T. When the green light comes on, you'll sign. Red X, state your name.
I'm a virgin.
I would say it. It's just out of principle. Mr. Virgin, you're before the court with violation of probation for what was originally domestic violence, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You've been ordered held without bond. Your court date is February 3rd at 9 o'clock.
Step behind him at the signature pad. Or when that light goes off and comes back on, you'll sign. Next. Johnson, Red X, sir. State your name.
Andreas Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you're before the court on an in-state warrant out of Dade County for robbery. Dade County's requested that we hold you, have you transported back to Dade County. We're going to honor that request. I have you returnable to a first appearance judge if you have not been transported before February.
Your Honor, I was in jail November the 20th. These charges have been, I was on probation and was extradited up here to deal with my VOP. That's why I've been here. And Judge Register has dismissed my my probation.
You've been there because you're in jail. Don't try to BS us about this, okay?
Violations. I've been
Okay.
in jail. How was I gonna make court when I'm in Bay County jail?
Well, the single worst reason for missing court is being in jail somewhere else. But that's neither here nor there.
If I got
can't change-
extradited, I got extradited here, sir. I didn't come here willingly. I violated my probation in Miami.
Unwillingly sent you back to Miami.
I'm saying, Judge, how can I be penalized for something when I'm following the rules? I'm not a fugitive. I'm following the rules of the courts. When I got these charges, matter of fact, these charges are a part of my violation of probation. I have my paper in the room. So
Okay.
if I'm following the procedures of the court, how am I still being held like this?
That's a good question for your Dade County judge.
I'm in jail. I'm incarcerated. From when I went to my probation, they
Yeah,
locked me up
I can
October
say
the
I
28th.
can't understand it for you.
Huh?
I said I
I'm
can
saying
explain. I can't
I'm
understand it.
sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Say what?
He's not gonna, he doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
I just said, excuse me, Your Honor. Huh?
He's putting you out. Step over and sign for your copy.
Out.
And Lolly was picked up right before first appearance.
Huh?
Talking about another inmate.
I don't know when they're gonna do tomorrow, but I'm done for the 2 o'clock with Judge Patrick.
Well, that was fun. Now for something
This
completely
is in the
different.
District Court of Butler County, Kansas, case entitled State of Kansas versus Taylor Parite. It's case number 2024 CR 473. James Watts appears as defense counsel. Amber Norris as prosecuting attorney. Taylor Parite appears eventually by his own Zoom. Mr. Parite, we need to clear something up right from the start. You were in court on November the 25th, where this hearing was set. And you were specifically told that you needed to appear at the Judicial Center in El Dorado or at your attorney's office. Now, I'm sure that I was clear and unequivocal about that. One of the reasons why I require that is to avoid the very type of technology. Now, just a minute. To avoid the technology issues that you experienced this morning with an inability or fumbling around to try to join us by video and audio. that could have been avoided if you would have appeared at one of the two places that I ordered you to appear. You've decided on your own not to follow the court's order. And quite frankly, Mr. Parikh, I don't like it. Do you have an explanation?
I had a family emergency.
A family emergency. You know, it's just amazing to me, Mr. Parikh, how many family emergencies pop up when somebody has a court date. Well, I'm very happy with you, Mr. Parikh.
I haven't seen this, but Ricky's loaded for bear. There's obviously history here. This is kind of fun.
And I hope we don't struggle with technology the rest of this hearing, because you are supposed to be in your attorney's office. Mr. Watts' technology is usually very, very reliable, as well as the judicial centers. I can count on it. I can rely upon it. Where are you at right now physically, Mr. Parikh?
I'm in Houston, Texas, at on my way to Indiana.
Do you have a restriction on your bond not to leave the state of Kansas?
Yes, sir.
You see where we have a problem here then?
So you violated that order too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is the business we're to conduct here? This is set for evidentiary preliminary hearing. Mr. Watts?
It was, Your Honor. I've had a chance to speak with Mr. Prees this morning. Ms. Norris had made a proposal yesterday afternoon by email about resolving this matter. It's my understanding Mr. Prees wishes to accept that offer. That would be counts 2 and 3, identity theft and misdemeanor theft, dismissing count 1.
Oh, sweet Jesus. He's going to announce to the court that his client wants to accept an offer when he's in blatant violation of his release terms. Let's see how this goes.
All right, Mr. Parikh, implicit in that, and I trust that is what you're intending to do today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We're going to deal with the issue of preliminary hearing so I can let these witnesses go. All right, Mr. Parikh, do you understand that a preliminary hearing is a proceeding to determine if there's probable cause that a felony crime has been committed and that you committed it?
Yes, sir.
You understand that if you waive preliminary hearing, the court will bind you over for trial at this point without any further determination of probable cause?
Yes.
I'm curious if he gets this done. I know Mr. Watts is not a fan of me and my channel. He probably likes the WNBA.
Sir.
You understand that once you waive your right to a preliminary hearing, you cannot get that right back, though you may proceed to trial later.
Yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to consult with your lawyer before making a decision to waive?
Yes, sir.
And do you now freely and voluntarily waive your right to a preliminary hearing in this case?
Yes, sir.
Does the state of Kansas waive its right to a preliminary hearing, Ms. Norris?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court finds that both parties have knowingly waived their rights to a preliminary hearing. Defendant is bound over for trial on any and all felony charges of the information. In light of the court's acceptance of that waiver, I can release all witnesses that were subpoenaed to testify this morning. I do greatly appreciate your patience this morning as we got started and for your attendance here today. But I can go ahead and let you leave the meeting at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Did I lose my defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are sadly witnessing a dark moment in the history of legal discourse.
I'm going to presuppose he's going to try to get right back on.
Law Talk with Mike is experiencing what we in the business call a plot hole-sized lull. This is, of course, due entirely to Mike's, let's say, ambitious approach to preparation. And by ambitious, I mean utterly devoid. Yes, the very fabric of our legal system, as represented by this live stream, has encountered a, shall we say, temporal anomaly. A glitch, a hiccup, a veritable vacuum of action. And who is to blame? Why none other than our esteemed yet woefully unprepared host, Mike. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a snack. This musical interlude is just gonna be a thing. We'll get back to the legal stuff eventually, probably. So to fill the gaping void where insightful legal analysis should be, and due to a lack of any ability to keep your attention, Mike has in his infinite wisdom decided to subject you to this artistic expression. God help us all, please do not hold Mike accountable for this. Bless his heart, Mike didn't quite foresee these moments of dead air when he planned for this whole thing. He clearly has no idea what he's doing, so sit back, relax, maybe grab a snack.
I just spoke with Mr. Breed. He's signing back on right now. And there he is.
To the legal stuff eventually, probably.
All right, I will note for the record that Mr. Preet has now rejoined this proceeding by Zoom. Mr. Preet?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
The lost connection.
Lost connection. I hope we don't lose connection again, Mr. Preet.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's been announced that you're now going to accept conviction by pleading guilty to two of the three counts in this case. Count 2 being identity theft, a level 8 non-person felony, and count 3 theft, a class A non-person misdemeanor. Is that what you intend to do?
Yes, sir.
But I've got a whole series of questions I need to ask you regarding the taking of a felony plea. If there's anything asked of you that you do not understand, I will give you the opportunity to confer privately with your lawyer. I would have greatly preferred that you be in his office right now, where it would be much easier for you to confer with him. But since you've elected not to follow the court's order and you're participating very, very remotely, I hope we don't have any technology issues, Mr. Preet. State your full legal name for the record.
Taylor Marpery,
How old are you right now?
28,
What's the highest level of education that you've attained?
high school.
You believe you're going to have difficulty understanding any of the legal concepts we're going to be discussing in court here this morning?
Sir?
Do you think you're going to have difficulty understanding any of the legal matters that we're going to be discussing here this morning? All right, let me finish my question before you begin to answer, okay?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been adjudged to be mentally ill?
No, sir.
Are you currently under the influence of alcohol or any drug?
No, sir.
Are you currently taking any type of prescription medication?
No, sir.
Are you supposed to be taking any mental health meds that you are not currently taking?
No, sir.
So, Mr. Preet, it's my understanding that your mind is clear and that you have a full understanding of what's going on here in court. Is that the case? I didn't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a
Yes, sir.
copy of the original charging document in the case, Mr. Preet?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the nature of the charge in count 2, identity theft?
Yes, sir.
Is your vehicle moving?
Yes, sir. I'm not driving.
Pull over. Find a safe place to pull over.
I'm not driving.
I don't care. Pull over.
All right.
I don't want to get motion sickness watching you on screen. This is a serious matter, Mr. Preet. You don't seem to be taking it seriously at all. All right, Mr. Parikh, do you understand the nature of the charge of theft?
Yes, sir.
You understand that when you enter pleas of guilty, you are admitting the acts charged in counts 2 and 3 as alleged by the state.
Yes, sir.
And you also understand that when you enter a plea of guilty, you're giving up any legal defenses that you might have had to those charges.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that in a trial, the state must present evidence against you in open court, that any witnesses must testify in open court in your presence, that you have the right to cross-examine witnesses with the assistance of your lawyer, Mr. Watts, and that at a trial, you could present evidence on your own behalf and subpoena your own witnesses to court?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that at such a trial, you would have a privilege against self-incrimination, which means that you could get up on the witness stand under oath and tell your side of the story at your choice, but no one could force you or compel you to testify against yourself if you didn't want to. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering a plea of guilty, you give up these valuable trial rights that the court has described?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that you have a right to a trial by jury and that before you could be found guilty, that jury would have to be satisfied as to your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, sir.
You understand that when you enter a plea of guilty, you give up your right to a trial by jury and the requirement that you be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have a right to appeal a guilty verdict if you have a trial?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you may appeal your sentence after entering a plea of guilty, but generally you may not appeal your judgments of conviction after you enter such pleas?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you aware of the sentences that could be imposed as a result of these guilty pleas that you're attempting to make?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's go over those. Identity theft is a level 8 felony charge in the state of Kansas, Mr. Parikh. On the level 8 line of the non-drug offense grid, in the most favorable criminal history category of I, you could receive as little as a 7-month sentence. However, in the most serious criminal history category of A, you could receive up to a 23-month prison sentence. So the sentencing range is 7 to 23 months in prison, depending on your criminal history. Mr. Parikh, as you sit in the car today, we do not know with certainty what your criminal history is. You better than anyone else here ought to know what your own criminal record looks like. But that will be researched by the Court Services Department. And based on the outcome of their research, as of the date of your sentencing, that will determine where you fall along the level 8 line, and then you'll be sentenced accordingly. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parikh, though a great deal of that grid line is presumptive probation, if you have 2 or more person felonies on your record at time of sentencing, you will be presumptive prison here. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that you could receive up to a $100,000 fine for this offense.
Yes, sir.
Count 3 is a Class A non-person misdemeanor. Do you understand that that's punishable by up to a $2,500 fine and up to 1 year in the county jail, or both?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that as a direct consequence of this plea, you could be assessed and be required to pay court costs, certain fees, including reimbursement of legal fees and expenses, and restitution to victims, if any are owed, as part of your sentencing orders.
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand that you will be sentenced to an extended period of reporting probation, reporting parole, or post-release supervision, which is your state parole time that you do after you get out of prison, as deemed appropriate by the court at time of sentencing?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that the Kansas Sentencing Guidelines Act has many special sentencing rules. Do you understand that if any special rules apply to you and your situation, it could affect your eligibility for probation or otherwise affect your sentence? You understand that, Mr. Parikh?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an ample opportunity to discuss legal matters like that with your attorney, James Watts, before proceeding here today?
Yes, sir.
You want any more time with him privately now before we go further?
Do I need any more time privately?
Yes.
No,
You need to talk to
sir.
your lawyer before we go on.
No, sir.
Are you satisfied with the services and advice given to you by your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Now, this guilty plea that you're attempting to make, has it been based upon any threat or promises as to what this court will do in regards to your sentencing or any other type of threat or promise?
No, sir.
You understand, Mr. Parikh, that if there have been any plea agreements between your counsel and the county attorney's office regarding sentencing recommendations, that this court is not bound by any agreements made. The court may and shall consider them as recommendations, but is not bound by them. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So how do you plead to the charge in count 2, identity theft, a level 8 non-person felony?
Guilty.
And to count 3, theft, a class A non-person misdemeanor?
Guilty.
According to the state's charging document, this all took place October 13 of 2024. Is that when it happened?
Yes, sir.
And it was somewhere in Butler County, Kansas. Where was it?
In El Dorado.
Okay. What did you do that would constitute identity theft, Mr. Parikh?
For the per diem card.
What?
The per diem card.
Okay. I can tell you what the charging document says, Mr. Parikh. You apparently used Jonathan Medina's name and date of birth. Did you do that?
No, it was a per diem card.
Okay. I'm not sure what you're saying.
It's a card we get at work.
Okay. So you used someone else's card?
Yes,
And
sir.
what did you do with that?
I pull cash off of it.
Okay. And you didn't have permission of this Jonathan Medina to do that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. According to count 3, you.
I wish they would just drop the hammer on this identity theft. I really do. It's so pervasive and so scummy. But this guy steals from his coworker off a card that's just traceable as the day is long. My God, what a stupid thing to do.
Took or stole $853 and a wallet and its contents. Is that right?
It was just cash.
Okay. And you use Jonathan Medina's name with the intent to defraud that person or someone else. Is that correct?
No, sir. I never to defraud him.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Excuse me?
May I inquire, Your Honor?
You didn't mean to defraud him. He just wanted to take the cash. He didn't want to defraud him. I don't know if he's in his feels or what the hell's going on here, but let's hear Mr. Watts explain.
Mr. Parikh, this was a per diem card for expenses where you're working at turnaround at the refinery. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. In order to take money off, that per diem card is assigned to a particular individual. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. In order to take money off of that card, in this case, the card belonging to Jonathan Medina, you would have to essentially claim to be Jonathan Medina. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. And in that way, you would basically defraud someone by claiming you are someone that you were not, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Will that assist, Your Honor?
It will. Mr. Medina, do you now freely, knowingly, and voluntarily enter pleas of guilty and accept?
Well, despite the fact that he doesn't like me, he did a nice job of cleaning up that factual basis.
Conviction for the crime charged in count 2, identity theft, a level 8 non-person felony, and count 3, theft, a class A non-person misdemeanor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Watts, do you know of any legal reason why the court shouldn't accept Mr. Preet's plea?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Norris, are you aware of any such legal reason?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Preet, do you know of any legal reason or any other good reason why the court shouldn't accept your pleas here this morning?
No, sir.
Court will accept the guilty pleas made by the defendant and finds that those pleas are made voluntarily. He has an understanding of the nature of his charges and the consequences of his plea. The factual basis for each charge does exist. The court finds the defendant guilty and adjudges him therefore convicted of the crime charged in count 2, identity theft, a level 8 non-person felony, and count 3, theft, a class A non-person misdemeanor. Count 1 is dismissed pursuant to plea agreement. Court orders a pre-sentence report be completed to accurately determine Mr. Preet's criminal history, and the court will set an appropriate date for sentencing. Earlier, Mr. Preet, you talked about El Dorado, Kansas. Do you know where El Dorado, Kansas is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You seem to have forgotten that today when you were supposed to have been there. But your sentencing will be with you being present in El Dorado, Kansas, and nowhere else. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to sentence you right now if I could, Mr. Preet, but there needs to be a pre-sentence investigation to research your criminal history and deal with some other matters. That generally takes about 2 months. So I'm going to look for a court date about 2 months out. Counsel, I'm currently looking at Wednesday, March 12th. Mr. Watts, Ms. Norris. I have some flexibility on time on that date, March 12th.
I can do that, Your Honor, about any time the court wishes to do it.
Ms. Norris?
Your Honor, if we could go either later in the morning or at least after maybe 2:30.
All right, would 11 o'clock a.m. work?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will set the sentencing for Taylor Preet Wednesday, March 12th, 11 o'clock a.m. Taylor Preet is ordered by this court to be personally present at the Butler County Judicial Center in El Dorado, Kansas, and no other location. I need you to repeat that back to me, Mr. Preet. Where do you need to be?
Butler County Judicial Center,
And what
11 a.m.
city and state is that?
El Dorado, Kansas.
All right. I'm still very displeased you didn't follow the court's order before, Mr. Preet. We had a late start and complication because you didn't. Quite frankly, I just want to get you to sentencing. You are ordered to fully comply with any pre-sentence assessments that are necessary in this case. I'm going to need you to immediately contact Butler County Court Services Department and follow their direction as to what you need to do to facilitate the pre-sentence investigation. You're going to have to perhaps do some assessments or some testing. I don't know.
Yes.
But you're going to need to follow their direction. Do you have something to write down, a phone number, Mr. Preet?
Yes, sir. Hold on.
Okay, I think you're going to need to call the number of area code 316.
It's always good to insult the judge by not showing up and then plead guilty so he's cranky when he goes into sentencing. Pro tip.
322-4153, I think is the correct
All
number.
right.
Did you get that? Mr. Preet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you repeat the number back to me, please?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Repeat it back, please.
316-322-4153.
Correct. If you'll call that immediately after this hearing, you'll talk to someone from the Court Services Department, and then follow their direction as to what you need to do regarding this pre-sentence investigation process.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And do that right away. Then I'll need you in El Dorado, Kansas, Butler County Judicial Center for sentencing.
I highly doubt he shows up, but that will just result in a bench warrant and make things worse. And he's a big dummy, and he will not go through life without getting arrested again. And when he does, he'll end up getting, extradited to Kansas, where they'll probably drop the hammer on him.
Wednesday, March 12, 11 o'clock a.m. All right. Mr. Watts, are you aware of anything further we need to address here?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Norris, anything further at this time?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Mr. Parade, do you have any questions about what we've done here this morning?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Parade, make that call, then you can get back on the road. There's nothing further then. The Parade matter is in recess.
Well, there you have it. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Those are good clips. Judge Van being a ham as usual. That was a lot of fun. And this knucklehead making Judge Ricky crazy. Judge Ricky should be crazy. That's annoying as hell. He showed a lot of restraint. I understand why he did what he did. Yes, of course, he could say you're violating your bond conditions. You're in contempt of court for this behavior. Let's just issue a bench warrant and bring you back here. But now he's got a conviction on the thing. My guess is he doesn't show up, and we'll be at the bench warrant anyway. But then when he finally does show up in Kansas, we're past that nonsense and on to sentencing. So I think it's good. I do. And a guy who is dumb enough to steal the per diem card of his coworker, take the cash out, think he's not going to get busted for this. It's all traceable. It's all traceable, and then the victim is somebody you know, working for the same people you work for. I don't know. That's like videotaping yourself committing a crime in front of the police station. I kind of stupid. This is chili level crap here. But that was kind of fun. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it. I will see y'all soon.